ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this online launch, yes, of an amazing book for all you sales professionals. You might have read many books relating to marketing and sales, but let me tell you, this is not only about love for sales, but the philosophy. The love that you have for your job, love for your performance, love for rewards, and of course, love for targets. So, once again, welcome you to the launch of the book, Romancing Target. I have with me Miss Nidhi Vadhera, the author of the book, a professional sales coach and a business consultant to many reputed brands. And she is the first Indian woman to author a book on sales. That's such a wonderful achievement. Welcome Nidhi, and thank you so much for joining us. And it is our honor and pleasure to associate not only with you but your book. Please throw some more light on your journey.
Thank you, Uzma. It's an absolute pleasure to be in conversation with an accomplished woman such as yourself. And my entire journey revolves around sales. So either I was selling or I was helping someone sell. My career started way back in 2003 when I started selling loans for one of the leading financial services organizations in the country. I'm talking about City Financial. So over the years, I handled the direct sales agencies, I handled telecalling units, then I handled branch operations, went into strategic alliances. So over the years, as I learned, as I grew with the organization, I understood the sales function and what needs to be done and what action needs to be taken, how to meet the timelines. So there came a point in my life where I was meeting all my targets consistently, I was winning all the contests. So my fellow team members and colleagues, they got curious to know what is this woman doing and how is she achieving everything. And they started coming to me asking questions, how to streamline their own processes, what to do. And during those conversations, I realized that my true passion lies in sharing knowledge. So when I was on sabbatical for maternity, that was the time I gave it a thought. And I figured out that now is the time when I should switch from a job and start doing something of my own centered around learning. But another huge revelation that happened to me in that moment was that to sell on the shop floor and to groom somebody to sell are two different things. So I got into that entire curve of re-educating myself. I learned from some of the best coaches and mentors in the world we have today. I'm extremely thankful to Mr. Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield, Victor Antonio for contributing to my journey. And that is when I decided that now I have to completely, switch to business consulting and sales coaching. So I have utilized the lockdown time to create digital learning assets. And here I am with you to talk about my first book, Romancing Targets.
तो निधि जी, हमने आपकी बुक पढ़ी है और आप सबको भी पढ़नी चाहिए. I love the way you've started it with a quote from Laurie Richardson. So I'd like to quote it to the audience. Selling is really about having conversation with people and helping improve their company or their life. If you look at it, selling is a very admirable thing to do. May I also add that what you have done is a very admirable thing. During your sabbatical, instead of caring about yourself and the baby to come, you actually went ahead and educated yourself. So knowledge is something that is an everyday process. We learn every minute, and I think you've learned from the best. I think you wanting people to learn from you on sales and targets is very important. So being the first woman author, please tell us more about it.
So when I started writing the book, Uzma, I had no clue that this is going to be the output or I would be recognized by a certain recognition that I'm the first woman in the country to write about sales. So of course, it's a great feeling to know that you're the first woman who's taken the step forward, who's written about sales. But instead of rejoicing with the fact that it's me, sometimes I think, why only me? Because it intrigues me to research further that what is happening to women in the sales function. As it is, I was reading a research paper the other day. I was in fact reading Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, and she has categorically mentioned that there are only 4% women who are present at senior leadership positions in Fortune 500 companies. So what's happening to women in the sales function? Is there any particular industry where they are excelling? How are they leveraging on the opportunities? How are they managing their challenges? So now that I have a tag attached to me that I'm the first woman author of the country, I would want to continue the research further and dive into deeper facts and find out more about women and their engagement in the sales function.
A very interesting and intriguing title, don't you think? Romancing Targets. Tell us more about not only the title but the book also.
So the reason why I chose this title for the book is that when you think about sales as a function, you're always stressed, you think about tension, you think about, achieving your numbers. So I wanted to create influence right from the start, where I want to influence the reader's thought that there can be a romance with your targets if you know what's the right way to take it forward. And if you ask me about the book, so, Uzma, I personally feel that even if you know the best way to generate, the most productive leads, you make impeccable presentations, you are, versatile in learning your sales strategies, all that is good if you want to build up your business or you want to increase your, achievables. But if somebody does not know where to start and what to learn, I mean, they are stuck there forever, right? So if you ask me, fundamentally, sales excellence requires two things. One, that you have to be foundationally strong in terms of your understanding about sales. And secondly, you have to embrace the fact that there are going to be less obvious factors which will impact your result, right? So when salespeople, because it's the nature of my job, I keep interacting with them. So when I talk to them about, how's the month going and what's your number looking like, so they tell me about, oh, there is stiff market competition, the product is not up to the mark, the customers are not engaging, this, that, all those answers they give me. And since they do not know what exactly is the problem, they are not able to figure out the answer. So as a result of that, they keep jumping from one strategy to the other, one trend to the other, without giving enough time to anything, to generate results for them. So I feel that for all of us as sales professionals, we need to understand that sales is a systematic approach, right? There are certain rules to the games. And that is why I wrote this book, Romancing Targets, explaining the fundamentals that would help a salesperson beam with confidence, when they step out in the market to sell. So Romancing Targets is a non-fiction business book centered around selling. It has got 7 chapters, and I have written it, with a vision to compress the knowledge into, palatable chunks that are easy to understand, at the same time easy to implement. So it will help you as a sales professional. It will help the readers, to understand, on one side, understand how the mindset plays a big role in the results you generate, to understanding your target segment, your competition, how you engage with your customers, how you handle objections, how you close a sale, how you build lasting relationships for future business, and not just that, I mean, how you handle your own emotions along with managing your client expectation, and how do you generate more business without compromising on profits in today's competitive market. So that is what the book is all about.
So also we wanted to know your thoughts behind writing this book.
Uzma, life as I see it, I believe that each and every one of us is a sales professional, in some capacity or the other, whether, irrespective of where we come from, what we are doing. I believe that everyone is a salesperson, whether we are selling a product, we are selling a service, we are selling an idea. But look at the paradox, the whole world revolves around selling, but nobody wants to sell, right? So while I was writing this book, the primary thought on my mind was to bring out this message that one, selling is a learnable skill, and secondly, there's nothing to fear about selling. So that was the primary thought on my mind when I was writing the book. In fact, a lot of people, they leave their sales journey right in the middle of their career or in the initial first 1-2 years, because they are not able to accept the fact that life is going to be about selling throughout. In fact, a few months ago, I met one of my colleagues from my previous organization, and I categorically remember that he left sales function because he said, I'm not meant for sales and I'm not meant for targets and I want to start my own NGO. Yes, this guy did start his own NGO, but the day we met again, he confessed to me that, Nidhi, right now what I do is I sell nobility to people. So, it's a full circle. Life comes back to that. So the sooner we accept the fact that there are certain skills which can be learned and it is going to improve us on both the fronts, personal and professional, that is what was the primary thought when I was writing the book.
And yes, we do have a lot of questions coming from the audience. तो हमारे दर्शकों को बताइए, should women pursue a career in sales?
Thank you very much for asking that question. काफ़ी interesting question है, लेकिन ये सवाल कुछ ऐसा है कि औरतों को खाना खाना चाहिए या औरतों को दौड़ना चाहिए. I believe ladies must definitely participate in the sales function, and I'm keeping my gender biases aside here, because I believe women come with the strength of emotions as well as with the strength of skills. तो अगर आप मुझसे ability wise पूछो, skill wise पूछो, तो मैं कहूँगी कि definitely females को sales space में आना चाहिए और actively participate करना चाहिए. But being a woman, मैं एक advice भी देना चाहती हूँ that don't jump into the sales world for a temporary moment. ओके, डोंट जॉइन कि 4 साल आ गए फिर मेरी फैमिली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आ गई, देन आई हैव टू स्टेप बैक. किसी भी स्पेस में आप जाओगे ना, यू विल हैव टू डिवोट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम बिल्डिंग योर सेल्फ, लर्निंग द नुआंसेस ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर डोमेन. तो अगर आप सेल्स में आ रहे हो तो पूरी तैयारी से उतरो एंड कम विद अ विजन दैट यू वांट टू बिल्ड अ करियर इन सेल्स.
तो दर्शक ये पूछ रहे हैं कि there are 7 steps, you're 7 steps closer to achieving your targets, and they want to read the book, but they want to know from you 1 or 2 steps so that they might just pick up the book and read.
So this book has been written with a vision to help sales beginners, so that they are more confident when they pursue their sales journey, because the environment as such, it is so competitive, everybody is busy achieving their targets, that nobody's going to handhold you and tell you step by step this is what needs to be done. So I wanted to write a book that can help people understand that the sales world, what it looks from the outside, it is quite different, on the inside. And there is a way, there's an approach to go ahead in your sales journey and achieve your targets. So few of the things that I have mentioned in the book is that I have, I have thrown light on how to understand who is your exact target segment. Who is the person who you should actually be selling to. Then at the same time, how do you analyze your competition? How do you understand what triggers, what gets you angry? Because there are certain factors, we spend all our energy and time in understanding the customer, but we don't spend time in understanding our own self. So from there, we branch out into the sales process. And I think one thing which is really going to be a very interesting point for the readers is how to handle your customer objections. So I've categorized into 6-7 broad categories of objections, and once you master that, I'm 100% sure that you'll be able to handle all objections that come your way.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Introspection is so important, and I think each of you should buy the book. So the next question is, where is the book available?
So the book is available on Amazon and on bookstores. We have both the format. It is available in the e-format, Kindle version, and also the softbound version. So if you are a new age digital reader, you can opt for the Kindle version. But if you are a conventional reader like me, somebody who likes to hold the book and mark the important points and keep it forever, then there is definitely a softbound version available for you.
Hanji, this book is available across all platforms. For the new digital readers, it's available on Kindle, go and download it, or across all leading bookstores. I'm sure you're going to buy this book and start romancing your sales targets. Now I think it's time to thank the wonderful audience for joining us and actually taking the time for a virtual book launch. Who would have thought that we would be virtually launching a book? So thank you, and I'm sure you're going to start romancing your targets with Nidhi Vadhera and her book, her wonderful book. So thank you all for being with us, and have a wonderful evening. Namaskara.